All right, this is the Polar Lights Bates Motel. The model is molded in black plastic. First thing I did was use the Krylon matte finish to cover and coat the plastic. That takes the sheen away from the initial plastic. You can see I didn't spray paint the backs. I didn't seal the backs with the matte sealer, and how shiny the plastic is shows up right here. When you seal it, it reduces the amount of shine. That also allows for the acrylic paints to adhere better and just act better. Now, these are real cheap brushes that I purchased, I think, like at the dollar store, maybe Harbor Freight, and I took a wide flat chisel X-Acto blade and just chopped them down. This allows the paint to be spread over the way I want, and to allow a type of painted weathering. It's not really weathering so much as it's just an application of paint. Now what I do is I dip the brush in the white, smash it down like so, a little bit of black, mix it in, just a touch of black, and then a little bit of brown. Mix that in. This gives a base color. Take a little bit off there, and now just start applying it to the house. Go a little heavily along the top, and then come down the sides in a back and forth fashion. Oh, I should say an up and down motion. Now, this is done repeatedly until I get the effect I want. So I'm constantly mixing up my colors fresh. And the nice thing about constantly mixing the colors is that they don't always come out exactly the same, which is good because you're weathering and you don't want it to be exact each time. Like so. And like so. If it doesn't come out quite the way you like it, you can rinse it off. This is acrylic paints. They remove fairly easily. Now, I'm not looking for a painted house. I'm looking to create a weathered house. A house that's so big that the owner just didn't keep up with it. He kept up more with the motel down at the base of the property more than anything else. Around the windows, I go a little stronger with the paint. I mix up some more, make up the color again, a lot of white, a little black, very little on the black. You don't want to make it too dark, but you don't want it really white. And then the brown, the burnt umber, makes it just a little bit dirty. Now we come along and wipe it off on the paper, and now apply some paint to the sides of the house. I'm going to go along the windows a little stronger before the paint completely removes from the brush. Like so. And we just keep going over. Now I've seen people paint these houses, and I mean paint them, and then try to weather them. What I like about the black one, it's kind of like going in reverse, in that the base of your weathering is already in place. So whatever you do to this thing is going to make it simply look like a part of the house in the photos. Okay, now there are many color photos to be found online of the Bates Mansion, mostly because it is a tourist attraction in California. I'm not talking about the one on the Universal lot. That house has really fallen out of favor. There were a couple of houses built for the movie. Presently, there's a show, well, it's going off the air, Bates Motel. And I was able to get some nice screen save shots of the house from the TV show. There are, like I say, there are photos online of people who have gone to the various Bates homes, Bates mansions that were built for display. Of course, this one, I think, for the TV show, I believe, is in Vancouver, which substitute a lot for the Pacific Northwest. This show is taking place in Oregon. Everything takes place in Oregon. But anyway, now, when you do that, after you do that, take a little bit of the nutmeg brown, which is a reddish brown, okay, and a little bit of the brown, and blend it together to create a dirty color. This dirty color can then be applied anywhere just to dull some of the white. Go bring it up from the bottom, as dirt would come up from the bottom. You could put it above and below the windows. And I'm going to add a little black to the brush at this point. Yeah. And you know, the sloppier you make it, the better it is for the appearance of the house overall. The paint is very uneven. It's worn. The house is really dirty. It's in really, really, really poor condition. Distressed, disheveled, not the lovely. And I'm going to continue on weathering all of the outside walls. I've already done the peak of the roof. And again, this has edgings here. And these can be weathered as well with these same colors. I don't know how well this is showing up, but all right, let's get some light. Here we are. And you can go along and weather the edges of this. Okay, all around. Just weather all the molding. Like so. All right. Just like so. There we are. And this really works out real well. The other nice thing about the inside of this house being molded in black plastic, the nice thing is that it will not allow any light to leak out the front. Now there's little bits here where it was attached to the sprues. These could be taken down with a file or an X-Acto knife. I just happen to have a file handy. And you continue on like this until you've got all of your components painted. And I paint them, I'm going to be painting them all before assembly. That includes any coloring, any weathering. It's all going to be done before assembly. And then if I need to touch anything up anywhere, I can do that as well. I'm going to continue on with the weathering to all these walls, the painting / weathering, and then I'll start the assembly of the building. That will either be in video form, most likely will be in photographic form, only because assembly takes some time and some concentration, and I really don't want to worry about getting it all on camera. But it will be recorded and put into a video format. Alrighty, now that the house is assembled, there are some touch-ups that need to be done. Mainly it's where the walls have been joined together, and when it was initially painted, I didn't paint the edges because I didn't know exactly what edge would be for glue and what edge would be for the outside. So I go around the house now, and you can see this here needs to be touched up, needs to be painted. Alright, so I'm going to do is take the white. I'm going to take some white, like so. A little tiny touch of black. And just a smidge of brown. And a little more white. Like so. Cover both sides of the brush. Take the brush and go along the edge here. More with a stippling action more than anything else. Up to the top. Get the upper moldings. And we go down the side. Just like so. I want to blend what I've done previously into this batch. Then I can also further touch it up with the color pencils as I did previously along the walls. Add a little more color, like so. Mix up another fresh batch of paint. Mixing up very, very small batches of paint because this is acrylic and it dries very quickly. Alright. I'll get this little spot here. There we go. Just like so. And I do this all along the areas where the walls were joined. It's also good because it allows you to cover up any glue that might have seeped out during the joining process. Now, go along like so. And just continue. It's like not quite dry brushing, but not really heavy paint being applied at this point. There, and this will go all around the body of the house. I'll go around and I'll check all of these areas again, and then I will add more green to show the intention of moss or algae on the house. But here, we're really bringing it all back together. Just bringing it back together and blending it all in. And what I'll do is I'll take some straight black and I'll just kind of smash the brush into that. Some white, smash the brush down into that like so. A little more white. And I'm going to create a stippling pattern next. I'm going to go, this looks just a little too straight painted, so we attack it with a stippling action. Like so. And like so. There. Fixed it right up. Here as well. Like so. Up in this corner here. There. We'll just go around it as many times as I need to kind of draw this all together. Like so. There we are. The black plastic really makes this fairly easy to do. And a little hint, if you happen to buy one of the kits that are available on eBay, but it doesn't come in black, they were originally, I believe, they were molded in a white or off-white color. One of the better things you can do, a good idea, would be to take the walls on their sprues and give them a coat of black paint. Use an airbrush. Don't use a rattle can spray, because the pigment in the rattle can is too heavy, and you will end up obscuring all this fine detail. Coat it with black, several light coats with an airbrush. Give it a day to dry. Next day, go over it with the Krylon matte sealer, several light coats. Give those several hours to dry. Give it another day if need be. Have patience with this. You're going to come out with a real good product. Then after that, you can get into the blending of the paint and the weathering and painting and whatnot, and do it and have a good foundation. Also, if you have the white painted model or the white cast model, paint the interior walls black. This being a black model, the interior walls are black. And I've already put a good strong flashlight into this. There is no light leakage through these walls. So there's some tips.